you ever felt it? That pull, that inexplicable urge to go somewhere far away, somewhere you've never been, somewhere that exists only as a dot on a map or an image on a screen. Maybe it's a remote mountain peak in the Himalayas. Maybe it's a forgotten island in the Pacific. Maybe it's just anywhere but here. This isn't just wanderlust. It's something deeper, something wired into the very fabric of what makes us human.
Welcome to Affectis.
Today, we're exploring one of humanity's most profound mysteries: why we're drawn to distant places, why the horizon always calls to us, and why, no matter how far we go, there's always somewhere further we want to reach. By the end of this video, you'll understand the evolutionary forces, psychological patterns, and even the neurological quirks that make distant places so irresistible. You'll see why our ancestors couldn't stay put, and why you can't either. Let's begin. To understand why we're drawn to distant places, we need to go back, way back, to a time when humanity itself was born. Around 300,000 years ago, the first Homo sapiens appeared in Africa, and almost immediately, we started moving. Not just a little. We're talking about one of the most extraordinary migrations in the history of life on Earth. By 70,000 years ago, small groups of humans began leaving Africa. They crossed deserts, mountains, and eventually even oceans. Within just 50,000 years, humans had spread to every continent except Antarctica. Think about that. In evolutionary terms, that's a blink of an eye. But here's the question: why did they go? They didn't have maps. They didn't know what was out there. They were leaving behind everything familiar: their hunting grounds, their water sources, their communities. And they were walking into the unknown, where predators lurked and resources were uncertain. The answer is simple, yet profound. They went because they had to, because something inside them made staying impossible. Scientists call this the migration instinct, but it's more than that. It's a combination of curiosity, necessity, and something else, a restlessness that seems to be uniquely human. Some groups left because of climate change. Africa was drying up and food was scarce. But others left even when conditions were good. They left because they saw a mountain range in the distance and wondered what was on the other side. They left because the unknown was more compelling than the known. This trait, this drive to explore, became one of humanity's greatest advantages. While other species stayed in their ecological niches, humans kept moving, adapting, and surviving in environments from the Arctic tundra to tropical rainforests. The people who felt the pull toward distant places, they were the ones who survived. They were the ones who passed on their genes, which means that pull, that restlessness, is in you. It's in all of us. Fast forward to today. We're no longer migrating across continents just to survive. Most of us have everything we need right where we are: food, shelter, safety, comfort. So why do we still feel that pull? The answer lies in something psychologists call psychological distance, and it affects us in ways we rarely realize. Here's how it works. Our brains process distant places differently than nearby ones. When we think about somewhere far away, our minds engage in what's called high-level construal. We think abstractly. We focus on possibilities rather than problems. We imagine the ideal, not the reality. A distant place becomes a canvas for our hopes and dreams. It's not burdened by the mundane details of everyday life. It's pure potential. This is why a beach in Bali seems magical when you're sitting in your office, but once you're there dealing with sunburn and tourist crowds, it becomes just another place. Distance creates enchantment. There's also something called the grass is greener effect, and it's deeply rooted in human psychology. We're hardwired to believe that what we don't have is better than what we do. It's an evolutionary adaptation. Our ancestors, who always looked for better hunting grounds or richer food sources, had an advantage. But there's more. Distant places offer us something our current environment can't. escape from ourselves. Think about it. When you travel somewhere far away, you're not just changing your location, you're temporarily shedding your identity. You're no longer the person with that job, those responsibilities, that reputation. You're a traveler, a stranger, someone new. This psychological freedom is intoxicating. It's why people often feel more alive when traveling, not because the place itself is so special, but because they're temporarily free from the weight of their everyday self. Distant places also satisfy a deep need for novelty. The human brain craves new experiences. Novelty triggers the release of dopamine, the same neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. When we encounter something new and unfamiliar, our brains light up. But here's the catch: novelty wears off. That's why travelers often find themselves constantly chasing the next destination. The place that seemed magical yesterday becomes ordinary today. The distant horizon keeps moving. Let's get scientific for a moment, because the pull toward distant places isn't just psychological, it's biological. In 1999, researchers discovered something fascinating, a gene variant called DRD4-7R. People who have this variant tend to be more curious, more willing to take risks, and more likely to seek out new experiences. Scientists nicknamed it the Wanderlust gene. Studies show that this gene variant is more common in populations with a history of migration. The farther humans migrated from Africa, the more prevalent this gene became. It's as if evolution selected for restlessness in those who ventured into unknown territories. But genes are just the beginning. Your brain's reward system plays a huge role too. When you plan a trip to a distant place, your brain releases dopamine in anticipation. This creates a sense of excitement and motivation. Interestingly, the anticipation of travel often produces more dopamine than the trip itself. That's why planning a vacation can feel almost as good as taking one. Then there's the role of the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and spatial navigation. When you travel to new places, your hippocampus becomes more active. It's literally creating new neural pathways as you navigate unfamiliar environments. This mental stimulation is good for you. Studies show that people who regularly expose themselves to new environments have better cognitive function and lower rates of cognitive decline as they age. Travel quite literally keeps your brain young. But perhaps most fascinating is what happens in your brain when you look at images of distant places. Researchers using fMRI scans have found that when people view photographs of exotic locations, multiple brain regions activate simultaneously. The visual cortex processes the image, the reward centers light up with anticipation, and the prefrontal cortex begins planning and imagining possibilities. This neural symphony creates a powerful emotional response. It's why we can spend hours scrolling through travel photos, each image triggering that same subtle rush of excitement and longing. Your brain, quite literally, is designed to be drawn to distant places. Here's where things get interesting, because there's a paradox at the heart of human nature. We're drawn to distant places, yes, but we're also deeply attached to home. Humans are one of the few species that create permanent dwellings. We nest, we put down roots, we form deep emotional connections to specific places. The concept of home is universal across all human cultures. So how do we reconcile this contradiction? How can we be both wanderers and homebodies? The answer is that we need both. We need the stability and security of home, and we need the novelty and growth that comes from venturing far away. Psychologists call this the security exploration balance. Children demonstrate this perfectly. They explore their environment confidently when they know they can return to the safety of their caregiver. Adults operate the same way, just on a larger scale. Home is our secure base. It's where we recharge, where we process our experiences, where we belong. But if we stay too long, we stagnate. We need the contrast of distant places to appreciate what we have. We need to leave in order to truly come home. There's actually a term for this: voluntary displacement. It's the intentional act of removing yourself from your familiar environment to gain perspective. It's why executives go on retreats, why writers seek solitude in remote cabins, why people take sabbaticals. Distance gives us clarity. When you're far from home, you see your life more objectively. Problems that seemed overwhelming become manageable. Relationships you took for granted become precious. The mundane becomes meaningful. But here's the deeper truth. The distant place you're seeking might not exist in physical space at all. Sometimes what we're really seeking is psychological distance from our current state of mind. We're not running towards something. We're running from something, from stress, from routine, from the version of ourselves we've become. The distant place becomes a symbol for change, for possibility, for the person we wish we were. And sometimes the journey itself matters more than the destination. We live in a strange time. On one hand, distant places are more accessible than ever. You can book a flight to the other side of the world with a few clicks. You can see real-time images from virtually anywhere on Earth. The world has never been smaller. And yet, the pull toward distant places has never been stronger. Why? Because in our hyper-connected world, true distance has become rare. True escape has become precious. We carry our entire lives in our pockets. We're reachable everywhere, all the time. Work follows us home. Social media collapses the boundaries between public and private, near and far. We're physically present, but mentally scattered across 1,000 digital destinations. In this context, distant places represent something revolutionary: the possibility of disconnection, of being unreachable, of existing fully in one place, one moment. The modern traveler isn't just seeking new sights, they're seeking silence, space, the chance to disappear, even temporarily. But there's a darker side to this too. The same technology that makes travel easier also makes distant places feel less distant. You can see inside a remote temple in Cambodia through someone's Instagram story. You can take a virtual tour of Patagonia without leaving your couch. This creates a new kind of longing, not for places we've never seen, but for experiences we've already consumed digitally. We travel to places we've already visited virtually, seeking something those images couldn't provide: presence, authenticity, the feeling of actually being there. And perhaps that's the real reason we're drawn to distant places in the modern age, not because they're unknown, but because they offer something our digital lives can't: the irreplaceable experience of being somewhere, physically and completely, with all our senses engaged. The distant place becomes sacred, not because it's far away, but because it demands our full attention, because you have to be there to experience it. So why are humans drawn to distant places? Because we're explorers by nature, because distance creates possibility, because our brains are wired for novelty and rewarded for seeking it, because we need contrast to appreciate what we have, because the unknown has always been more compelling than the known. But maybe the deepest reason is this: distant places remind us that we're alive. They pull us out of autopilot. They force us to pay attention. They make us feel small in the best possible way, reminding us that the world is vast and we are just one tiny part of it. The horizon will always call to us. That's not a bug in human nature. It's a feature. It's what made us the most successful explorers this planet has ever seen. So if you feel that pull, that restlessness, that unexplainable urge to go somewhere far away, don't ignore it. That's not dissatisfaction speaking. That's your evolutionary inheritance. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. The question isn't whether you should answer the call. The question is, where will you go? Thanks for watching Imagine This. If this video made you think differently about your own wanderlust, hit that subscribe button, because wherever your mind wants to wander, we'll take you there.